Welcome everyone to this 20-minute upper back love practice. The focus of our practice today is to free up the upper back, the thoracic spine, and the shoulders as well as the chest. So this practice would work really well if you've been sitting a lot recently, if you've been driving or on the computer and in this hunched over position. This might be a really nice release for you. So if you have a wall available, you might choose to practice close to it, but you don't have to. And if you have two blocks, you might use them, but if you don't have two blocks, you could also use a hardcover book for one of them and a rolled up hand towel for the other. And if you don't have any of those things, you can still do the practice. So let's jump right in and come into a tabletop. So come onto your hands and knees. And as you come into your tabletop, take a moment to just ground your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. And then spread your fingers and spread your toes so that you anchor really firmly onto the ground beneath you. And then keeping the arms straight like an elevator, you'll just start to lower the chest through the arms. And when you get to the very bottom of that elevator, micro bend your elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades together on the back. And then push down through the hands, rebound up, dome just the upper back by protracting the shoulders, tuck the chin down towards the chest, release the neck and head. And we'll try that again. Lowering down like an elevator, drop the chest through the window of the arms, keeping your pelvis neutral. When you get to the bottom of that elevator, bend your elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades onto the back, press up, dome the back, protract the shoulders, tuck the chin, and release the head. One more time. Drop the chest through the straight arms. Bend your elbows just a little bit towards the back of the mat. Squeeze the shoulder blades onto the back towards the spine. Push up, protract the shoulders, drop the chin, and release the head and neck. And bring yourself back into neutral. And if you want to move a little bit here and just create some space, cat-cow or side to side, you're welcome to. And when you're ready, take your right arm out to the side and up to the sky. You open. And as you exhale, thread the needle, come all the way through. Rest onto the right side of your face. And then take your left fingertips forward on the floor with a bent elbow. Bring them over the head a little bit to the right. And as you bend your left elbow up towards the ceiling, hug the left shoulder blade down the back towards the spine to bring the rotation, the movement into that thoracic upper back area. Take a nice full breath once you're there. You can use the movement of the lungs to help create more space. And then as you bring the left hand back underneath the face, you inhale the right arm all the way back up to the sky. Full breath in. And as you exhale, the right hand comes down underneath your shoulder. Moving to the other side, the left arm opens as you inhale. You thread the needle as you exhale, come all the way down. And as you rest your head down, notice if you lose grounding in your feet. And press the feet firmly down onto the ground with your shins parallel. Right fingertips come forward and over your head slightly. Bend the elbow towards the sky and hug the shoulder blade down the back. If you feel that your hips want to lean to the right, see if you can bring them a little bit more to the left so they stay aligned above the knees. Take a full breath here. Right hand comes back next to the face. Inhale all the way up, left arm to the sky. And then exhale, the left hand comes down. And you keep your hips above your knees here. And then begin to walk your hands forward and lower your forehead to the mat. So we're coming into Anahatasan or heart-melting pose. But especially if you have a lot of mobility, rather than letting your whole chest drop to the floor and kind of splat onto the floor, spread your fingers, push into the hands, and try to almost lift your chest up into your shoulder blades, but resist yourself. Get really long through your armpits, and long through your arms, like you're trying to reach your sitting bones towards your heels, but they actually stay aligned above your knees. Take one more breath here. And then as you lift your head off the ground, bring your forearms down and then your pelvis down. So we're coming into Sphinx pose. And when you land in your Sphinx pose, you want the shoulders to be above the elbows. So if you land yourself somewhere here, just bring your hand forward slightly. Spread your fingers to grip onto the mat. Keep the back of the neck long rather than looking up. Tuck the chin gently towards the chest. And then we'll just roll the shoulders. So as you inhale, let the shoulders come forward and up. And as you exhale, let them slide down the back. Inhale, they come forward and up. And then exhale, they slide down the back. One more time, forward and up. And then they slide down the back. You can pause here. That chin tucks down towards the chest, like you are pushing the back of your head up into something, or trying to give yourself a little bit of a double chin. Take a full breath in. And as you exhale, you'll bring yourself out into cactus on the floor with the right cheek onto the ground. The left fingertips come onto the mat next to you, and you'll roll yourself open onto the right side body. So that left foot can either come onto the floor behind you, it might just float in the air here. And you can use your left fingertips to help create stability. See if you can use the breath in the right lung to encourage space and release through the right side of the chest and all along that inner arm line. And let yourself soften a little bit further for a full breath. And then as you feel ready, you can roll yourself back through center and set up for the other side. So the left arm comes into that cactus shape on the floor, the left side of the face is on the ground, and then you use the right fingertips to help roll yourself open onto the left side body. And maybe the right foot lands on the ground, maybe it's hovering in space. And once you're in the full depth of the shape available to you, soften into the movement of your left lung, feeling a stretch from the left side of your chest all the way down the inner arm line. And then from here you can roll yourself all the way back. Hands come either side of the rib cage. Baby cobra as you inhale, pubic bone pressing down, back of the neck stays long. And then lift up into downward facing dog as you exhale. So plant the hands, tuck the toes, and send the sitting bones up to the sky. And as you come into your downward facing dog, you might find a little bit of movement here. Maybe pedaling your legs out one at a time, maybe both together. You might find that you keep both knees bent, or you keep the heels like high off of the mat to give you more length in the spine. But as you ground through all parts of your hands, imagine that you are trying to sit up on the ceiling and let your shoulder blades lift as you stretch the armpits and get really long. From here, start to walk your feet forward to meet your hands at the top of the mat. And with the feet about hips width apart, you can soften the knees. Let the head hang heavy as you drape the torso over your thighs, and then either reach for opposite elbows or let your arms dangle. And plug your feet firmly into the ground. One vertebra at a time, begin to roll yourself all the way up. The head is the very last thing to come up. Shrug the shoulders up to the ears. Slide them down the back. Landing in mountain pose, you might adjust your feet a little bit. Spread all 10 toes onto the mat. Open your palms. And then the movement, the breath, it starts in your base, it starts in your feet. And then from there, as you inhale, the arms float all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. Fold forward as you exhale, Uttanasana, come all the way down. And let's interlace the hands behind the low back. And the knees can be very generously bent here as the arms come over the head. And you might turn your head left, turn your head right. And then with the feet firmly anchored, release the hands down. Inhale, lift halfway. And as you exhale, step your right foot to the back of the mat. Draw your right knee down to the ground. Inhale the arms up to the sky and rise into a low lunge Anjaneyasana shape. So you might play with a little bit of a shorter lunge so that you see that your hips, they're aligned more closely over the back knee. And I'm keeping my back toes tucked under, that's up to you. You inhale all the way up to the fingertips. And as you exhale, the hands come down and you'll monkey grip your hands so that the left hand is on the inside and the right hand is on the outside, and you'll curl your fingers. And try to pull your elbows apart, but keep your fingers gripped. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, twist to your left, pulling your left elbow to the back of the room behind you as much as you can. Inhale, come back to center. Keep the pelvis and the legs strong. Exhale, twist to the left. Reach that left elbow behind you. One more time. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist to the left, reaching your elbow back. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, the hands come down to the ground. Now lift the back knee off of the mat. Spread your fingers wide. And then in one smooth movement, take your left foot to the sky, three-legged dog, and bring your right forearm onto the ground. So you're in a funky three-legged dog, one forearm down, one hand down. And then bend your left knee open and stack the left hip on top of the right. Yawn the hip open so your knee is lifting to the sky. Maybe look down at your bottom knee, your right knee, and just check that the kneecap is facing forward. Take a full breath in. And as you exhale, curl the knee into the nose, lift up onto both hands, squeeze the breath out, and step forward. And this time, as you inhale, rise up into a high crescent lunge. Arms reach up to the sky. Maybe there's a bend in the back knee to facilitate that vertical alignment. Tailbone is reaching down and the base of your skull is reaching up. Take a full breath into your fingertips. As you exhale, cactus your arms. Go really wide here. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, cactus, like you're resisting the air beneath you. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus one more time. Stay in your cactus arms here, like goalposts. Begin to rotate to your left. Stabilize your legs and pelvis. Keep the fingers spreading, the arms spreading. Reach the arms out parallel to the ground. Energize out your fingertips. Tip the shape back like you're reversing as you inhale. And as you exhale, right hand down, left arm to the sky. Come into a twisted runner's lunge. From here, take your left hand behind the skull and begin to lean the head back into the hand away from the front thigh. Elbow opens towards the ceiling. Take a full breath. Exhale, left hand comes down. If you have a block, you might use it in between your hands here. If you don't have one, that's okay as well. If you're using a block, place the block in between the index and the thumb. Spread your fingers wide. And then again, as you take your left foot to the sky, this time you come down onto both forearms into a three-legged dolphin shape. Squeeze the block in. Squeeze the forearms in. Take a full breath. Empty that breath out. Left foot comes down. You walk the feet back into a forearm plank shape. Pause for a moment in your plank. Gaze in between your forearms. Low belly drawing in, tailbone reaching back. Full breath in. Exhale, pelvis down into your Sphinx pose. This time as you inhale, you'll lift the gaze up just a little bit. And as you exhale, curl the chin in, lift the belly button up away from the ground. Inhale, like a cow pose, you look up. Exhale, like a cat, you curl in. One more time, inhale to lift. Exhale, curl. Inhale, open. This time as you exhale, come all the way down. Forehead meets the mat. Hands either side of the rib cage. Lift into either a baby cobra or a little bit more spacious of a cobra pose as you inhale. Wrapping those upper arms back. Back of the neck stays long. Downward facing dog as you exhale. Take the hips up to the sky, tuck the toes. And then give yourself a moment to settle back into the shape. Whether that's pedaling your legs out, maybe you're switching this out for a child's pose. And then begin to walk your feet forward. Meet your hands at the top of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, full breath in. Exhale, Tadasana, the arms released by the sides, palms open. relaxed, standing tall. So while you're standing in your Tadasana, we'll then interlace the hands behind the back of the skull. Draw your elbows in so they face the front of the room. Keep the spine upright, but begin to flex at the neck. Tuck the chin down. Soften your knees just a little bit and squeeze in. Inhale, lift back up. Widen the elbows out, nice and tall without those front ribs flaring. Exhale, curl in and down. See if you can isolate the flexion in the neck and the upper back. Inhale to open, elbows wide, vertical alignment. Exhale, curl in one more time. Inhale, you come up, the arms go up. Exhale, fold forward all the way down. Find your halfway lift as you breathe in, and then step your left foot back as you breathe out. Bring the knee to the ground, the toes can stay tucked under. Arms reach up to the sky. You're in your low lunge. Again, maybe it's that shorter lunge, so you feel this alignment above your back knee, really lifting up through the left side of the belly. Right side of the belly is moving away from the front thigh, so this hip crease here is quite broad. You inhale up to your fingertips, and as you exhale, monkey grip. Right hand's on the inside, left hand's on the outside. Full breath in. As you exhale, you rotate to the right and pull the right elbow to the back of the room. Inhale to center, and then exhale again, rotate, and reach the right elbow to the back of the room. One more time, inhale through center, exhale, rotate, pulling your elbow towards the back of the room. Back to center. As you inhale, exhale, the hands come down. And then in one smooth motion, you lift the back knee. The right leg goes to the sky as the left forearm comes onto the ground. And coming into that funky three-legged dog, you bend the right knee, stack the hips, so you're yawning the right hip open. Look down at your left knee, see that the left knee is pointing towards the left forearm. Take a full breath in here. As you exhale, you curl the knee to the nose, lift up onto both hands, squeeze the breath out. And then step forward, rising into a high crescent lunge. Arms go up to the sky. Maybe there's that bend in the back knee, helping to facilitate a neutral pelvis, so there's no crunching in the low back. There's a lot of space in that front hip crease. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, cactus your arms wide, resisting the air beneath you. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, cactus. One more time, inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus. You'll stay in your cactus, arms wide. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, you twist to your right. Goalpost arms. Maintaining that vertical alignment as you spread your fingers, open the arms wide. Tip the shape up and back as you inhale. Exhale, left hand comes down. Right arm reaches to the sky. Right hand comes behind the skull. Lean the head back into the hand. Open the elbow towards the ceiling. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, right hand comes down. Again, if you want to use your block here, you're welcome to. That helps give you more stability in your dolphin. Spread your fingers. And as you take your right leg to the sky, come down onto your forearms. Right leg to the sky. Three-legged dolphin. Push the ground away from you through your forearms. Like you're trying to lift your head further away from the ground. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, right foot comes down into the full dolphin shape. And then this time from dolphin pose, we'll just lower the knees to the ground. Bring the knees together, untuck the toes, draw yourself into child's pose with the arms resting back by the sides, palms up. Curling yourself in here. You could put a block underneath your head if that gives you better support. Pause for a breath, reconnecting to the earth beneath you. And then when you're ready, roll yourself up to sit back onto your heels. So I'm going to offer one other thing that we can play with at the wall. If you don't want to go upside down in this practice, you can just skip this and meet us in a moment. Otherwise, if you do, what we can play with here is coming into our forearm stand, but in a very specific way. We use one block in the hip crease of the leg that's not lifted, and then the second block could be in the hand. So if you don't have the blocks, this would be your book, and this would be your towel. You can do this with no blocks as well. So we're really using the wall purposely here. And you'll set yourself up for your dolphin with your hands on either side of the block. And then tuck the toes and lift up, looking back at your feet. And then whichever leg does not have the block or the rolled up towel in it can go up to the sky. And then with your gaze in between your forearms, you'll give yourself a hop all the way up until that left heel reaches the wall. And the knee that has the rolled up blanket or block is curled in towards the rib cage. So one heel on the wall, one knee is curled in. And then I begin to look through my arms towards the wall on the other side of the room. And then I might even look up towards the knee that's holding the block or the towel. Like I'm trying to pull my chin gently towards my chest. Really big shoulder and upper back opener. Take a full breath in. And as you exhale, you look back down in between your hands first, and then slowly, gently bring yourself back down. Knees to the ground. You might rest in child's pose for a moment as you come up and get ready to switch to the other side. Block comes in the other leg. Hands come down onto the ground, forearms come down, forearms are parallel. Get a really strong grip on the earth first. Snug that block or towel in. Tuck the toes. Lift up into your dolphin shape. For me, it's my right leg to the sky this time. Gaze in between the arms as I hop. And I look for that right heel to find the wall. Right heel finds the wall. I'm flexing my toes back away from the wall and squeezing the block in with my left knee. Once I feel stable here, maybe the gaze comes through towards the opposite wall, up to the knee. Looking at my left knee, squeezing it back towards me. Take a full breath. And when I'm ready, the gaze comes through to the ground first, and then I slowly make my way off the wall. Both feet come down, and I can sit back onto my heels. And I'd like to close the practice. You have a choice. You could come into Shavasana if you have time for that and you want to just lay yourself down. But if you wanted just a few moments in a more passive heart opener, back opener, you might set yourself up on blocks, either at the highest height like this, at the middle height like this, or at the lowest. But you would want 2 blocks the same. If you don't have blocks, you could do this with cushions. You could also do this with a bolster. So you could find your way. I'll do it with my blocks on the middle height so you can see. So this block we want to snug right underneath the shoulder blades. And it might be higher than you initially think. And then the other block is just to cushion the head. Your feet can be planted on the ground. You can extend the legs all the way out long. You could find your Baddha Konasana shape. And then you can have the arms just resting on the ground if that feels good. Or you can reach for opposite elbows, like you're making a square around your head. And depending whether your arms are up or down, it will change the sensation in the upper back because it changes the position of your shoulder blades, of your scapula on the ribs. If you're reaching for opposite elbows, take a few breaths in one position and then switch. Take a few breaths with the opposite grip. And then maybe at some point you just allow the arms to release. Relaxing into your breath, giving yourself some space to digest all of the movement, the practice that you just went through. And you're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like, and when you're ready to come up, you can plant the feet onto the ground, knees to the sky, and then roll yourself off the blocks to the side. Maybe bring yourself up into a seat, sitting in any way that is comfortable for you. Maybe the eyes are closed. You can bring the palms together in front of the heart in Anjali Mudra, this gesture of gratitude. And take a clearing breath together in through the nose and out the mouth. And then let's inhale for Om. Om. Thank you for joining me for this short 20-minute practice. I hope you found it beneficial, and maybe it helped to create a little bit more space in your upper back and chest. If you have questions about the practice, I'd love for you to reach out. You can email the studio. You can go into social media and find either the studio or me, and I'm happy to answer questions or chat about the practice if you weren't able to come see me in person at the studio. I hope you're well, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.